Under the neon glow of Las Vegas in the late 1970s, the city pulsed with the promise of luck, power, and secrets hidden behind glittering chandeliers. Casinos had become cathedrals of chance, machines of money that hummed 24 hours a day. And for the first time in history, a new innovation was slipping into their bloodstream: computerization. Behind the glitz of spinning wheels and chiming slot machines, circuits and code quietly replaced human hands. It was meant to make the games fairer, faster, and impossible to rig. But as the dice clattered across green felt tables and fortunes changed hands with the flip of a card, one man sat in silence, staring at the flicker of a screen, and wondered if he could beat the system that claimed to be unbreakable. He wasn't a mobster, and he wasn't a gambler. He was a technician, a quiet figure who spent more time with soldering irons and circuit boards than at the craps table. His name would later vanish from official records, buried under sealed testimonies and corporate denials. But in the beginning, he was just another man tinkering in the shadows of a world drunk on chance. He saw what no one else bothered to see. The machines were talking. Slot reels spun at random, or so they claimed. But behind their mechanical whir was an algorithm, predictable if you knew where to listen. To everyone else, the floor of the casino was a symphony of noise and chaos. To him, it was a rhythm. Patterns hidden in flashing lights and electric hums that spoke louder than the roll of dice. Late one evening, 2 a.m., the casino was thinning out, the air thick with stale smoke and spilled whiskey. He leaned against the wall, notebook in hand, recording every spin of a machine near the back of the room. A woman pulled the lever, coins clattered, lights flashed, and the outcome repeated itself in a sequence he'd already predicted 3 times that night. He didn't smile, didn't cheer, he simply wrote it down. By dawn, he had the skeleton kept a way not to play the game, but to rewrite its very heartbeat. His first attempt was small, a quiet test. He fed the machine a single coin, pulled the lever with deliberate calm, and watched as the reels spun into a jackpot no one expected. The coins spilled into the tray, metallic rain echoing across the room. Security glanced over, uninterested. It was just another lucky night in Vegas. But for him, it was confirmation. The code bent, the rhythm obeyed, and the house was no longer in control. Days turned into weeks, and his system grew bolder. He built a pocket device, no larger than a cigarette pack, soldered by hand, disguised in a leather case. To anyone watching, he was simply pressing his thumb against the edge of the machine. But in reality, the device pulsed signals in perfect time with the slot's circuits. The results were flawless. He moved from casino to casino, always careful never to stay too long, never to win too much. Always the ghost who left with pockets heavier than when he arrived. By 10 a.m. on a Wednesday, he sat at a blackjack table, not playing, but watching. He had learned that the casino's new computer system monitored every machine in the building, logging wins and losses in real time. But those logs could be intercepted. He had tapped into the signal through a phone line snaking out of the casino's basement, recording transmissions no one outside the company was ever meant to hear. And what he discovered was staggering. The world's first digital casino was vulnerable. Not to brute force, not to violence, but to a single man with the patience to decode its heartbeat. He became addicted, not to gambling, but to control. Where others trusted in chance, he orchestrated certainty. His winnings grew. His reputation whispered among a few shadowy figures who understood what he'd done. Some saw him as a genius, others as a thief. But the truth was more complicated. He wasn't just beating the system, he was exposing its fragility. But every ghost leaves footprints. The casinos noticed patterns, jackpots that defied probability, machines that drained too quickly when he was nearby. Surveillance teams rewound hours of grainy VHS tape, pausing on his faceless silhouette, leaning against a slot, always calm, always watching. Still, they couldn't prove anything. To the naked eye, he was just another gambler, another body in the neon haze. Until one night, just past midnight, he pushed too far. A casino on the edge of the Strip, freshly outfitted with its state-of-the-art digital monitoring system, became his playground. He fed the machine, pressed his thumb against his device, and within minutes, the jackpots flowed. Too many, too fast. Alarms didn't sound, but upstairs, a control room lit up with red warnings. Statistical anomalies, payout thresholds exceeded, patterns impossible under chance. Within moments, plainclothes security began to circle the floor. He didn't notice until it was too late. Two men in suits approached from behind, hands on him, shoulders. He didn't fight, didn't run. In a windowless room below the casino, they placed the device on the table between them, its wires exposed, its secret no longer hidden. He said nothing, and for hours, neither did they. The machine, silent and unassuming, was all the proof they needed. What happened next was never written into public record. Some say he was quietly arrested, charged under new laws that blurred the lines between theft and hacking. Others believe the casino struck a deal, erasing his crimes in exchange for his expertise. There are rumors he was recruited, hired by the very industry he exposed to design better systems, stronger safeguards. And there are darker whispers still, that his methods didn't disappear, but evolved, passed into the hands of others who would use them not against casinos, but against banks, governments, even the global stock exchange. By the time Las Vegas fully embraced digital surveillance and encrypted networks, his name was already legendary. And among a small circle of insiders, he was the man who hacked the world's first casino, the one who proved that chance was never chance at all when machines were involved. His story faded into myth, buried beneath the city's endless reinventions. But his shadow lingered in every glowing screen, every encrypted system, every whispered fear that the unbreakable was never truly safe. And as the neon lights of Las Vegas still burn against the desert sky, the question remains, did he vanish into history? Or is he still out there, listening for patterns, waiting for another system to betray its secrets? Because if one man could bend the rules of the first digital casino, then perhaps no game, no system, no fortress of numbers is ever truly beyond the reach of a mind willing to play against the house.